guys, it's Christy, and today I am actually coming to you from a little spot on my screened-in back porch that I like to use as a painting studio. I believe in being expansive and like being creative and just trying new things. So one thing that I absolutely love doing is painting, and I've taken to oil painting in particular. I don't have any training in this. I'm, just kind of finding my way as I go along. I've watched some videos, of course, of people who, are expert at this to get some tips and tricks, but I try to stick to, what my creativity is speaking to me. So I find that when I am trying to paint landscapes or portraits, things that are detailed like that, I get way too perfectionistic and critical of my own work, which defeats the purpose of, that creativity and expression. So what I've enjoyed doing lately is abstract oil painting. So I'll show you some examples of what I've done. Just, little paintings. Normally when I start, here's a few more. Normally when I start a painting, it's just with a very vague concept. I try to not get too detailed about what I want to do. Sometimes it's as simple as just deciding what color I want the background to be, or maybe like a feeling I want to capture, or something along those lines. That way I'm not giving myself too much, as terms of guidelines and specifics like that. So the first thing that I really want to do is lay down a color, like prep the canvas, I think is what they call it. And with oils, you can use mineral spirits for your first coat, and that dries really quickly. So my concept today was that I wanted to start out with a green background for some reason. Don't ask me why. Like I said, it's just usually a color or, some kind of feeling I want to express. So what I'm going to do is take some mineral spirits and put it on I have a clear glass plate that I use as my palette. You don't have to be fancy. And I just put some mineral spirits, on the plate. And I also put a little bit of mineral spirits in a jar. I save all kinds of jars so that I can rinse my brushes. And I've just picked up my brushes online or in, the craft stores, as well as the paints that I've used and the different mediums, which I'll show you later. So what I want to do to prep the canvas is take the mineral spirits and thin out whatever color I'm going to lay down on there, and just go ahead and paint the whole thing. And I'm one of those people, I like to paint the sides of the canvas too, so I'll go ahead and get started. Oh, and side note, I like to have, some wine or snacks or something. I always make sure I keep them on a little table to the left of me so that I don't accidentally try to rinse one of my brushes in my wine, because that would be alcohol abuse. And I'm not about that. So let me take a sip and get started on prepping this canvas. I had this idea, I wanted like a darker green for the background. So I have here a Viridian green, and you already saw I put the mineral spirits on the plate. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of this to the side. And then I'm just going to use probably a larger paintbrush. Let's see, like this. I'm going to rinse it in my mineral spirits real quick, and then I'll start mixing and painting, and nothing formal. Like I said, I just like to go with it. To me, that's true creativity. Some people are great at, portraits and landscapes, and that's wonderful. But for me, abstract is just where I've landed. So I'm going to take some of my paint, and I just absolutely adore this color. This Viridian green is so beautiful to me. So I'm going to go ahead and get that, so you can see how thin that is. So I'm just going to start painting it. You're going to see a lot of drips. They're easy to take care of, and by the end of this, you'll just have a nice color coding. It'll be different shades. Let's see. And I just kind of work myself down the canvas and then decide if I want, you know, to see strokes. If I do, what direction do I want them to go, or does it matter? I mean, this is pure fun if you let it be. So what happens with the mineral spirits is it thins out this paint, because oil paints do dry slower than some of the other mediums. So the mineral spirits will allow it to dry very quickly. And typically when I sit down to do a painting, I know I'm impatient, but I like to finish it in one sitting. So I just put my first layer on with just mineral spirits, and then I use other mediums. I'll do like mineral spirits with a little bit of Galkid and mix my colors, my next colors with that, and it helps them to not dry quite as fast as the just plain mineral spirits. I'm going to go ahead and do the sides in the same green, and sometimes I'll end up covering up the entire, you know, canvas with other colors, but that's okay because I still have that base green, whether it's just around the edges or little peeps of it throughout. I just always want to start with one color, and I do stand up and sit down quite a bit throughout the process, so don't mind me. Okay, so I got these two sides done. I'm going to flip the canvas around, get the other two sides. This canvas that I chose today is a square one. I believe it's 14 by 14. I don't quite recall at the moment, but pretty sure that's close to 14 by 14. I like to get my canvases, I buy them online or at the craft stores. A lot of times they have sales at the craft stores, and I'll just buy a bunch then, which is what I did this last time at Michael's. And all right, I think I'm getting pretty happy with this base. See, nothing fancy, just enjoying being out here. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of noise at some points throughout the video because I have a very large pond in my backyard, and the geese and ducks love it, and I think it might be mating season because the geese have been going crazy. So don't mind that. All right, so I'm going to let this dry for a couple of minutes and stop messing with it. That's one thing I have to tell myself sometimes, is to just less is, what is it? Less is more? I don't know, something like that. So as I'm laying out this color, I'm thinking that I would like to do something like a vortex maybe, and just get some colors going in that vortex shape. I think a good color to start with would probably be maybe just white, and then I can add in other colors to that. The good thing about oil paints is when you're using a medium like the Galkid or this linseed oil, the linseed oil will slow the drying quite a bit, so it depends on how quickly you want your work to dry. For me, the Galkid's enough to slow the drying enough for me to be able to, you know, make corrections or blend or things like that, but it will dry within the next couple of days after I'm done with the painting. Whereas the linseed oil extends that drying time quite a bit, so you just have to decide, do I want to work on this painting for several days? If so, I would recommend the linseed oil. But for me, I just want to do one sitting, so I'm going to use the mineral spirits mixed with the Galkid, and then whatever colors I want to put on top. So I'm going to start with the white. So I'm going to put a little bit of this Galkid, if I can open it, it's childproof, on my palette here, and I'll just choose a little spot over here. Okay. And I always put my colors up around the edge here, so I could draw it into as much or as little of the different mineral spirits and the different, you know, Galkid or the oils, whatever medium I'm using. but I could still leave some of the pure colors up at the top. So I have a big thing of white, Bob Ross style. I pick up my paints too, just like I do my canvases at, you know, craft stores or online. You could, wherever you could find them. Okay, so I'm going to put quite a bit of white up here because I will be mixing the white with other colors as well. So I always make sure I put a pretty decent amount down. All right, so now I need to choose my weapon as far as paintbrush. And since I'm doing a Vortex, I want more of a rounded brush. Sorry, I don't, let's see here. I think what I'm looking for, where is it? Let's see. I think I might use, yeah, this one's a little thicker. Okay. I think I might use this brush. It's a 5 Benici. Benici is the brand, and the number is 5 as far as the, it's like a rounded tip. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to take my white paint, and I'm going to put it where I have the mixture of mineral spirits and Galkid. So I'm just going to pull it in. See, a little bit at a time. Just kind of pull the color down and pull the mediums into it. So I definitely want some of the mineral spirits to thin it out, and the Galkid to, it also thins it out, but it helps it not dry quite as fast. So I'm just going to take that, mix it up, and then I'm going to lay some color on here and see how it goes. So I wanted to start in the middle and kind of get a vortex going. And as you can see, the color is not there. But I got the shape down, and now I'm going to draw more color in. Alright, so let's see. And I think I need a little thicker than what I had because it's kind of dripping a little bit. I think because the background color is not quite dry yet. So I'm just going to keep going with this. And then kind of adjust as I go along. This is how I paint. It's definitely not technical. I like to get like the basic idea down and then just keep adding to it. This is just how I paint. Alright. So I could see this vortex shape that I laid down, and I'm just going to keep putting in a little more white and a little more white. I'm going to add some other colors. I'm envisioning a gold color as well. That I would like to add in. And maybe some purple eventually. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. See, this is just so free form and freeing and creative. Just like I want it to be. Because as I move along, I see, I would like, I'd like to add some gold, or I want this vortex to look more one way or another. And like I said, the oil paints are very forgiving, so you can just kind of go with whatever's happening if you're comfortable with that. Some people are more comfortable with the, the more specific ideas and detailed, and I completely respect that. I wish I could not be so critical of my own work when I'm doing those more detailed paintings. Okay, so what I've got here is the beginnings of a vortex. I'm just going to keep adding what I feel as I move along. And see, there's some dripping going on, easy to correct. And get right back in there. Add more to it. We'll be doing some blending of the next colors that I lay on. Just very freeform, very creative, and eventually it'll be something that speaks to me. And that's all that's really important, is that what you're doing speaks to you. It's very interesting because some of my paintings, I never tell anyone what I'm thinking or feeling when I create the painting, because I want them to experience their own feelings when they look at it and come up with their own ideas about what it's about. I think that's what art truly is. So it's interesting to me what my husband or my son will think I've painted, and I never tell them. I just love their interpretations of what I've done and how different they are from what I interpreted them as. I think now I'm ready to go with a little bit of gold. I'm not sure exactly where I want to lay it, but I'm going to bring in some yellow ochre, or ochre, excuse me. This looks like a really great gold color. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my plate up top. I think I'm going to use the same paintbrush that I put the white, the white beginning of the Vortex on with. I try to keep these they're not paper towels, but like a thicker paper towel in my area, because they're perfect for dabbing paint off, drying your paintbrushes out a little bit, and they're easy to dispose of instead of having like rags. So I'm going to take some of this yellow ochre, which really looks like gold to me, and I'm going to mix in a little bit of this white, which now has also green in it, but I don't think that's going to matter. I just want a lighter gold color than what I've got here, so I'll mix that in. Pick up some of this mineral spirits. Okay, that's a nice gold color right here. And I'm just going to start laying that in, I don't know where, maybe just to the inside of the white. So once I lay this in all the way, then I'll start blending it. But for now, I just kind of want to get the essence of that gold on the edge of the white. Whoops, got a little drip there. It's okay. I could fix that or incorporate it or whatever I decide to do. It's the beauty of this. If you can approach this art without judgment of yourself, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I try to approach this in a way that allows me to kind of get in touch with, a part of myself that I can just express without judgment. That's what I like about abstract, honestly. We judge ourselves enough. So if we can find something where we can let go, I'm all for it. Okay, so I'm getting this gold on here. I don't know if purple would really fit in well with this painting, but I'm feeling some purple, so that might be the next color that I come in with. I think it'll express something unique. And I'm all about that. Okay. And I've got a lot of dripping going on, so I may end up kind of blending and bringing So there's that gold. I got the basic color laid out. I think I am going to come in with some purple. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take a sip of wine here. Cheers. I think I'm going to come back in with some brighter white after this is dried a little bit too, just to kind of get that essence of a true vortex with that white light and the other colors to complement it. So let's try, let's see, I've got this, violet purple color that I'm going to put over here. Let's put it on this side of the white, because I know I'll be mixing it with some white. I don't want it just straight purple. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this white down into the medium here, bring some purple down in, and decide like what shade of purple I want it. I think I'm going to have it a little lighter than this. Now I'm not putting as much of the mineral oil, or mineral spirits, excuse me, in this purple, because I am noticing how much of the drip I'm getting of the other colors, and I think it's because the mineral spirits are just thinning it out too much. So, see, you can just make adjustments as you go along, and we'll blend all of this later. So I'm going to go ahead and pull white in, some of the medium in there. There we go. Get it thinned out a little bit. I don't want it too thick or too thin. All right, I'm going to come in on the other side of the gold. Ooh, that's dark. Oh boy. And just continue this vortex shape. I don't know if I want another color in this, or just to keep expanding on what I've already got. I think this shade of purple might actually work once I get the blending going. Blend with the other colors. I'll just keep playing with it. I like this. I'm liking this so far. And for me, I just keep painting until I'm satisfied. All right. Okay, I'm digging this. I'm digging this vibe. So what I'd like to do now, I love how the green is still in the background. And I love how this vortex is coming out. I love this purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors. Okay. So, here we go. I think what I want to do is come back in with the white again, but make sure it's coming in a little thicker and whiter. See, this is what allows us to really play around with this, is the fact that these colors don't dry quickly. And so we're going to get to keep bringing them in and kind of blending them and getting them into a little bit thicker. You always want to lay your thicker paints on top of the thinner ones. That's why I started with pure mineral spirits as the background. Then the next layer is going to be mineral spirits plus one of your other mediums, and then kind of gradually move to maybe one of the other mediums and the paint by, just the two mixed together. But you don't ever want to put the thinner just mineral spirits on top of something that's thicker, or else it's gonna crack. I did learn that from another YouTuber. Okay, so let me get back here with my white, because I definitely want to define that white more. So let's see here. I'm gonna sop up some of this green, get it out of my way. With my, there we go. And I always keep this glass bowl over here as like a little trash receptacle, so to have somewhere to throw these rags. Okay, so now I want a little bit more pure white. So I'm going to put some of my Bob Ross white over here, and I'm only going to mix it with the Gal Kid this time, so it's a little thicker and brighter. And let me make sure my paintbrush is nice and clean. Dip it in here again, make sure it's good and rinsed off. Make sure I get all that, previous color out of there, because I don't want my white to have any other color in it. All right. So I've got some of the Gal Kid here. I'm going to pull it over. Get more white down in there, which I was not successful at getting all the color out of my paintbrush, so we're going to go with it. Okay, so I'm going to come back in, I'm going to lay in some more white, and as you can see, it's a little bit brighter, thicker. I'm going to try to kind of blend that in. Make it a little brighter and clean up some of these drips. And I'll probably have to lay down a few layers of this white and the other colors as well to get where I want to get. I just love this process. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just an idea, a little creative expression. I love it. And I think by the end of this, I'm going to love this vortex I've created, which is the main point. Nobody else has to like it. Don't even have to show it to anyone else, really. This can be just for you, or you can show it, sell it, whatever you want to do. It's all up to you. I just like to play around at this point. So excited about this painting. I actually been wanting to sit down and do this for a while. And I'm glad to be able to share it with you guys. I like how I'm getting more of the blurred colors from the gold and the green as I'm moving through this painting. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same type of thing with the gold. I'm going to use it in a thicker form than the last time. Just keep going with the white for a minute. I'm really liking this effect. I feel like the more I'm blending it, the more surreal and blended it's becoming. It's just becoming more of a vortex. Oh yeah, I'm liking this. definitely like the more blurred look to it. Set that up there. It'd probably be advisable to have a smock you use. I need to work on that. Okay, we're going to come back in and just try to brighten and blend, brighten and blend. Then I'm going to come back in with that nice gold color. Nothing has to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like anything in particular. It's just creation. All right, so let me try this gold. I'm gonna mix, I like how some of the gold is darker here and here. So I'm gonna try to have a little more of that effect going. So let's see. I've got my gold and my white right next to each other. I'm gonna go ahead and mix some. A little more of the white in there this time, I think. Okay. I'm gonna come in, start laying this in. Oh, I like that. Yeah, this is pretty. Yeah, I like this more. More gold. Yes. Okay. It actually looked so much greener last time, the last go round. So now I've got that real gold essence coming out. I think when I come in with the purple, I'm going to lighten it up. I feel like it'll look better that way. And see, that's as you go along in your painting, you're going to make adjustments. And you're going to decide what you like better. I like how this is kind of looking like a vortex that's full of activity. It's not a perfect, circle, and it's like a little chaotic, a little more extreme than just nice smooth lines. And I like the chaos in it, the contrast. Art imitates life is what they say. So let's see, this is a bigger gold area. Bringing it around. Let's see. I forget where I am sometimes when I'm doing this, which is fine because maybe I gotta adjust and move into a different spot. Hopefully the lighting's not too bad out here for you guys to see what's happening on the canvas. So there's our next layer of gold. I'm really digging it. Really digging it. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if I'm going to put more purple on this. I might just kind of go over the purple with a brush that's clean to just blend it. So I think the other colors are right where they need to be. And I could soften this purple a little bit and blend it with the gold and the green. And soften it into this vortex that I'm so loving right now. Oh yeah. I'm feeling this right now. That's what I'm talking about. Alright. I think I might be done. I think I'm happy with that. Yeah. I love the colors. I might mess with a little bit more as it's drying, just to get some of the blending down a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with this. And that's all that matters. And remember that when you're painting or doing anything that you enjoy, your happiness is the only thing that matters. What other people think of you is none of your business, is what I always say. So, last thing I have to do is sign it. Where's my little brush? I use this tiny little guy here. I think I'll sign this one in purple on top of the green here. And I'll just put my KT on it, as I do on my paintings. And there you go. I've really enjoyed sharing this with you guys today. Cheers. See you next time.